That was beautiful. Our next performer is a spoken word artist. I have never met this woman in person before today, but I am so compelled by what I saw of her online. That's the world we live in. You just meet people online. Not dating. You just meet. Giovanna De L'amour. She has a sister who is schizophrenic, and she's born and raised in New York. She's also a burlesque performer as well, which is an art that's quite fond to both of our hearts. She's been performing in New York City at venues all over, and she's new to storytelling. This will only be her second time performing this piece. Give a warm welcome to Giovanna De L'amour.
This title of the piece is called The Time My Sister Went Missing. I'm 19. I'm sitting at this bar drinking a Long Island iced tea with my cousin Raishon. I just lied to my boss saying I'm too emotionally distraught to work because my older sister is missing. The only part of that being alive was that I was emotionally distraught. My sister has been missing for 4 days, and I'm pissed. My sister and I were close growing up, but I always kind of considered her my best friend. Because not only was she more outgoing, creative, and loving in a way that I was not, she was also more spoiled, manipulative, and sneaky. If she wanted something, she would scheme her way into getting it, broke you down until you gave it, or in my case, threatened to tell something I told her in confidence until I gave her what she wanted. My sister was that daughter that any father would put a tracking device on to see what they were doing. And growing up, I became that tracking device. I was the responsible one, the emotionally detached one, the strong one cast in the role of my sister's keeper. It became my job to make sure my sister got home after school and didn't do anything stupid. And if she did, I usually got in trouble with her, for her, or because of her. I felt like a surrogate parent, an older sister to my older sister before I even knew who I was. And I hated her for that. For requiring so much of my own, for requiring so much attention that my own wants and needs were usually sacrificed. And now I'm sitting at this bar, drinking a Long Island iced tea, and I'm pissed. Because now for all the extra catering to my sister's nature, she still became schizophrenic, and now she is missing. It's so ironic, I almost want to laugh. But mostly I couldn't help wishing that she was dead. And now I know what some of you might be thinking, but before you judge me, ask yourself, have you ever watched someone you love go crazy?
It's okay. Breathe. Just breathe. It's all right. Just let the energy flow. Okay.
One day there's a soul in their eyes, and they're teaching you how to smoke pot in their grandmother's gazebo. And the next day you come home from boarding school, and they refuse to shower as they chain smoke cigarettes and listen to Rihanna on repeat and talk to themselves in the bathroom mirror. She cut her hair off and has to start wearing wigs, and her weight goes up and down from all the medication. I don't know who this being was. To me, my sister wasn't my sister anymore. 3 days later, 1 week missing, and 1 week missing, I'm sitting downstairs in the basement apartment. We now live in Brooklyn. I'm playing Super Mario on Nintendo 64, not Xbox because it's awesome. I hear that my aunt and her friends have been driving around Queens looking for and talking to people my sister was usually staying with. My father has filed a missing persons report and is conflicted about whether or not to get her on the news. But for the last week, I have been hanging out with my friends in the city, drinking 40s in the park, while listening to Biggie on someone's iPod boombox. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but before you judge me, I need you to understand. I'm 19. It's the summertime. I just finished my first year of college. I wanted the life I was supposed to have. I didn't want to deal with the reality I was being forced to deal with. I had already given my sister so much energy growing up. I didn't want to give it anymore. I wanted to experience the person I was without her. My sister became this demon, this dark vortex, trying to ensnare me in its clutches, and I was fighting like hell to escape it. The phone rings. It's Chris, this guy from our high school my sister believed that she was in love with before she got kicked out. He tells me he received this strange phone call from my sister. And he just called to let me know. I thank him. I thank him for telling me. We exchange pleasantries and I hang up. I tell my father that you called. And now I think that my sister's a fucking asshole for having everybody worry about her. 1 week later, 2 weeks missing, my sister is home. The summer is almost over. I'm at my aunt's house, sitting at the dining room table with my aunt and cousin. I'm thinking about my next semester of college as we puff past this one last cigarette between the three of us. We are buzzed, on the edge of being drunk, and a little loose at the tongue when my aunt turns to me and says, "Your father doesn't want you to know, but I think you should know what really happened to your sister when she was missing." She tells me they first find her on Craigslist. There are pictures of her naked body and a number to call. She tells me my father gets in contact with Chris, who gives him the number my sister called him from. My father tracks this number to this hotel in New Jersey, where he drives to. She tells me that my father starts looking in the area, looking around in the area, and gets noticed by these guys, this guy in his sports car. The guy in the sports car gets out and starts knocking on the hotel room doors as if to warn the people inside the rooms. She tells me my sister emerges from one of the rooms. Apparently, these men had convinced my schizophrenic sister that she was going to be in a music video. But like most girls in the rooms, began selling her to other men instead. Upon seeing her, my father grabs my sister and takes her to the hotel room, to the hotel lobby, where he asks the receptionist to call the cops because he isn't sure what these men will do to her. As he's waiting, one of the guys approaches him and asks him who he was and what he was doing. He tells this guy, "This is my daughter. I'm taking her home. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's not on her medication." And the guy stares at him and looks at him and gives him a pound and says, "I got you. I've got her daughter too," and walks away. My father later tells me he had a belt strapped around his chest to make it look like he had a gun, and a pillowcase with 5 cans of soda to use as a weapon. Something he got from Sean Penn in the movie Bad Boys. The very idea was absolutely ridiculous because my father is a lone officer and is one of the most ungangster men I've met. The cops arrive. They question my sister a little. They reprimand her from leaving, for disappearing. And my father takes her home. When my aunt finishes, I think my heart breaks. It's the deepest emotion I've felt, but I don't cry. I don't cry because I'm the strong one. I never learned how to. All I know is how to keep it together. So that is what I did. But for a split second, I closed my eyes and think, mercy. It would have been better if she was dead.
Wow. Thank you for your honesty and for your tears. They are welcome here. Give her another hand clap, please. Beautiful work.